Should you scout for Summer Gardenia and Dhelmise? Is she any good? Well, guys, first things first, she is a seasonal sync pair. And as a seasonal sync pair, if you have paid gems, you can get her at a discounted rate of 20,200 paid gems as opposed to the non-paid route of 36,600 non-paid gems if you get shafted. This is a ghost type field sync pair, and we already have a ghost type field sync pair as a free to play. That is actually Victor and Spectrier, which we got, I think, last year or something like that. And yeah, this is the second ghost type field sync pair that we have. This one has an EX role of support. And let's take a deeper look at her kit right now. She has, stats-wise, she has pretty high special attack stat at 410. And speed stat pretty average, defense is average, like tech levels, HP 716, not too bad. And in terms of attacks, you have flash cannon, you have metal sound, you have buddy move Summer Hue's Shadow Ball. Summer Hue's Shadow Ball, when you use this is unlimited as long as you use, you know, one move. At least you use one move, you use flash cannon, you use metal sound, or it says that when the user uses any move once, or you use I'm Not Afraid. I think you can use anything to unlock Summer Hue's Shadow Ball, and you can use this an unlimited number of times. No MP, no whatsoever. And guys, this hits every single opponent. This is a ghost type attack. If I'm not mistaken, the one and only AoE ghost type attack that we have right now is not even an, a direct attack. It is from New Year Dawn with Teeter Dance. You use Teeter Dance to confuse the opponent. It's an AoE status move, and her passive skill, Extra Special Ghost Damage, is the one that deals damage to all the opponents. If I'm not mistaken, that is the one and only AoE ghost type attack that we have currently in the game. I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. This one should be the second one. So this one not only hits every single opponent, this is a 2-move gauge attack, and it lowers every single opponent's attack and special attack stat -1. That's nice for the buffing. It also has a 20% chance of lowering the opponent's special defense -1. Remember, this is for every single opponent. And the first time you use Summer Hue's Shadow Ball, you bring in Ghost Zone. And once you bring in Ghost Zone, guys, you activate her first passive skill, Grow Strong. When the user activates a weather, terrain, or zone effect for this sync pair, it's a zone effect. It raises one random stat of all allies by 2, whether it's attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, accuracy, or evasiveness, as well as increases every single ally's special moves up next effect +1 stat rank. That is a 40% increase in your next special attack damage. That applies for Gardenia to Flash Cannon or Summer Hue's Shadow Ball. That will power up your attack by 40%. And not only to her, but also your allies. So the moment you bring in any zone, Ghost Zone, you raise every single ally's attack or defense or special defense, those stats, random stat, by 2. Now, you can also bring in another Ghost Zone by using I'm Not Afraid over here, her trainer move. It will bring in Ghost Zone. It can raise an ally's special attack stat +4 and raise an ally's critical hit rate +3. So you have to select which ally gets this, and that ally will be powered up with a special attack +4 and a critical hit rate +3. So you can only use this once, but there's an MP refresh on her kit. And the moment you get an MP refresh, you can bring in another Ghost Zone. You can power up another ally. You can raise another ally's critical hit rate +3. And remember, by bringing in Ghost Zone, you activate your first passive skill, which raises a random stat by 2 for all allies and brings in that special moves up next effect, something like that. Now, Metal Sound lowers one opponent's special defense -2. But with her second passive skill, Status Pokemon Move on opponent team down 9, whenever an opponent's stat gets lowered, every single opponent gets lowered by that stat. So, Metal Sound technically lowers every single opponent's special defense -2. And the moment you use Metal Sound, your third passive skill triggers first use status Pokemon move Steel Zone. It will bring in Steel Zone. So this Sync pair can bring in one Steel Zone, another Ghost Zone by using your, buddy move, a Ghost Zone from I'm Not Afraid trainer move, and another Ghost Zone which is gonna be extended from 6-star EXing her because of her field 6-star EX role over there. So at least three Ghost Zones, one Steel Zone, and more Ghost Zones probably, depending on how many MP refreshes you get with your trainer move. And we did not discuss, but you have Flash Cannon, which is a 10% chance of lowering the opponent's special defense -1 when you use Flash Cannon. Now, one thing is that I think this is the very first, I might be wrong, Sync pair that brings in 2 zones at once. I believe, I am 199% sure that this is the very first Sync pair that brings in 2 different zones. Now, you cannot have 2 zones at once. If you bring in Steel Zone when Ghost Zone is active, Ghost Zone will disappear and be replaced with Steel Zone. If you bring in Steel Zone, vice versa. So, yeah, this is a very, very gimmicky unit. And as a, standalone unit like this, with one copy, I would rate her, well, it really depends on if you need ghost type or ghost zone or something like that. But I believe that AOE ghost attack plus it's only a 2 move gauge attack plus it debuffs the opponent plus it brings in ghost zone. That's not bad Sync pair. I probably would rate her like a 7.5 to probably an 8. But not really that crazy high. Probably an 8.5, yes. But you probably don't need this one. And if you are a not so, pretty beginner, novice, or you don't know really how to use these Sync pairs, you might get confused and overlap zones with another zone and stuff like that. So that's a little problematic for this Sync pair. But anyway, guys, let's move back and check out her grid. But aside from the grid, you also have a lucky cookie, an exclusive lucky cookie for this one. And my goodness, I am so disappointed at her lucky cookie. You only get move gauge refresh 3. What a joke. If it was like an extension or something like that, I would love it. But move gauge refresh 3. You can also get that from your deluxe lucky cookies. This is just a joke. Disappointing. One copy of Gardenia, you get nothing significant. So you have to get more than one copy or else she's just boring. The typical just probably a 7.5 in my rating or probably an 8 or stuff like that. 2 out of 5, we got Catalytic Infliction, Flash Cannon, Flabbergast 4 to confuse the opponent. You got a move gauge refresh 3. You got on a roll 5 to have a higher chance of lowering the opponent's special defense. But again, you can use Metal Sound to lower all opponent's special defense. Now, Flash Cannon will not AOE lower the opponent's special defense stat. It only Metal Sound that AOE lowers the opponent's special defense stat. Haunted Acceleration speeds up the move gauge. Metal Sound move gauge refresh. Metallic Power will power up your attacks when the field is Steel Zone. Now, you can, if you want, you can use Flash Cannon or you can use your trainer move use your body move. That body move will bring in Ghost Zone. And use Metal Sound to replace the Ghost Zone with Steel Zone. Metallic Power 3 will power up your body move even if it's a Ghost type attack. It will power up your Ghost type attack with Steel Zone, something like that. And then Summer Hue's Shadow Ball Move Gauge Refresh 3. Super Sinker will give you a super effective up next effect if you use your Sing move for the very first time if the opponent is weak. You know, you have two types of attacks here. You have a Steel type attack, you have Ghost type attacks, you have Ghost type Sing moves. So, versatile Sing pair over here. 3 out of 5, we got Befuddle 2. Start of the battle, you get to lower the opponent's special defense. All opponent's special defense -2, and then you have some multipliers for the opponent's special defense lowering. Brain Teaser will power up your Flash Cannon or your Buddy move the more the opponent's special defense is lowered, and then Smarty Pants will power up your Sing move the more the opponent's special defense is lowered. You also have Ghost Zone Extension 3 as well as Steel Zone Extension 5. So, Steel Zone gets extended a little bit more because you can only bring in Steel Zone once. Meanwhile, you can bring in Ghost Zone quite a lot of times, at least 3 times. And if you get that MP refresh, which I'm not afraid, MP refresh to 30% chance of bringing back, you know, another Ghost Zone and raise an ally's special attack stat +4, raise an ally's critical hit rate to max, and that's that. Then you have your status Pokemon moves special attack up 9. If you use Metal Sound, you get to raise your own special attack stat +1, and then use status Pokemon move special boost up 9. So you can decide to just use Metal Sound, Metal Sound, Metal Sound, Metal Sound, Metal Sound, maximize your special attack stat, raise your special moves up next effect by, I don't know, 6 times, 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, and then dish out strong damage with Flash Cannon or your Buddy move. It will be powered up with how many special moves you have, you know, with every single stat, power up your moves by 40%. So if you have your special moves up next effect +10, that will power up your next attack by 400% damage. So that's Gardenia, guys. That is it for her. You have a couple of multipliers. You have your Ghost Zone multiplier for your Sing move. You have Smarty Pants over there, which will power up your Sing move if the more the opponent's special defense is lowered. And then you have your super effective up next effect with Super Sinker. If you decide to, you know, arrange everything, you can get at least 3 multipliers with this Sing move of Gardenia. But that's that. So, a gimmicky Sing pair which can bring in 2 different zones at once. Yeah. Let me know what you think about this Sing pair. But again, guys, scout for your faves instead of the meta. I do not know if this is gonna be meta. I don't think this is gonna be meta at all because it will just contradict one another unless the game finally decides that, hey, maybe it's about time that we can stack electric terrain with grassy terrain, with psychic terrain, with rain dance, with sunny day, with hail, with sandstorm, with ghost zone, with steel zone, with fairy zone, with normal zone. If we can stack them all eventually, then that will be the meta. But for now, it's just gonna overlap one another. So that's that, guys. Let me know what you think about this Sing pair. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to visit my coffee.com or coffee-com/SPLGum page and help me out with my Animal Flow mentorship. Or become a member of my channel by clicking on the join button down below. Thank you to all the members of my channel for your continued support. But that is it for this video. It's 4 a.m. I am going to bed. See you in the next one. Rawr.